And ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, welcome once again to the SYN Shop stream. I am, of course, the Mighty Pong.
And I'm Tidance.
And our special guest tonight here is, in fact, Tidance. And hey, and we are he's a multiple times a returning champion on the Monday night show. And I found out, well, not found out, but recently I kind of realized, hey, that guy he drives planes. So we should have him on and talk to him about learning to fly. And so that's what we're going to do. At any rate, so, yeah, okay. Crux is going to be joining us tonight in the chat. Crux will be in text form tonight. He's gone back to his ASCII roots. And so, yeah. So we'll be doing all that here shortly. But first, a quick announcement on the shop. This show is being presented as best as we can, by God, on behalf of the SYN Shop. Now, what is the SYN Shop, you might ask? Well, a SYN Shop is a maker hackerspace located in Las Vegas, Nevada. We offer the tools and equipment that you can use to make pretty much whatever you can think of. Now, we're currently closed for renovation. You're going to have to wait just a little bit to come check out the shop, but our members are currently working as hard as they can to get the shop back in action just as soon as possible. Now, if you're in the Vegas area and you'd like to help out, join our Discord and check the shop build-out channel to see what you can do to help get the shop back in action. Now, to join our Discord, just go to synshop.org/Discord. You can find the latest information on the shop there. And to make sure you're notified of future events, including virtual ones just like this, you can join us at meetup.com/Synshop. And with that, welcome.
Hi there.
Yeah, welcome to the Friday show.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here.
Absolutely.
More than usually, I'm just in text form, talking with everyone through that.
Yeah. Well, actually, so more often than not, you're here on Monday nights.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so you've been
Monday's a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you've been doing that with us for what now? Probably about
wow,
at least a couple months. Probably more like 3 or 4.
Yeah, something like that. I've gotten a lot done through that show. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I've got friends tuning in. I've got people at work asking me about it.
Very cool. Well, I hope they missed the first 10 minutes of this show. So
we'll edit it off. They can see it later.
Absolutely. No, that is the plan for sure. Yeah. Oh, speaking of editing things to be much, much shorter, if you're watching us on YouTube, by the way, you're getting just a little tasty taste of the whole show. So if you'd like to see us recorded in all of its flaws, you can join us on twitch.tv/Synshop every Friday night for the main show at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, and on Monday nights at the same time for the project stream. There you go.
Project stream. Yes.
Yeah, I've only done it like 40 something times. Why would I remember it? Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself here for those of you, for the people that aren't familiar with you from the Monday show. So how long have you been going to the SYN Shop? Let's start there.
I was looking at that. I was trying to figure this out. It's been, 3 years? 3 years on? Let's see here. I got started with it after a trip to New Zealand. I toured the Weta room down there where they do special effects.
No kidding.
I came back. What's that?
How'd you get hooked up with that?
You just go down there and request a tour. That's what's cool about Weta. You just call them up and be like, hey, I'd like to take a look around. And they'll just like, okay, come on in. And they'll let you in. They have a studio tour where they'll take you in and show you how they build the props and things.
Okay, so how does Weta get you over to the SYN Shop?
Let's see. The movie Ghost in the Shell was coming out, which I'm a big fan of. And they had a few props from that down there. Yeah. And talking to them back then, let's see here. They were Blade Runner. The new one was in production, and they were working on things from that. But getting to talking to them, the big thing at that time was 3D printing. And I came back from that trip going, I want to learn about 3D printers. What's a good way to do this? Well, I can go out and buy a $200 printer, and that's exactly what I did. And it's like, this is fun and all, but I'd like to push this a little bit further. And I know a place with a lot of 3D printers. I just need to join it, and I finally need to do this.
Oh, wow.
So I did. And I joined the SYN Shop, and I walked in, and I learned to fix just about every printer in that room. But before you know it, it's like, I know how to use these printers. I got this.
This guy knows troubleshooting.
There's a lot to do over there, and it continues. So,
yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
so it'll be fun.
From one of my favorite things to talk about to one of my least favorite things to talk about. I don't know about if you're aware of this or not, but I do not care for heights. I guess really the right place to start would be like, when did you first say, you know what I want to do? I want to get in a machine and rely purely on air pressure to keep me from slamming into rocks.
I blame my parents.
Okay, that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Okay, I blame my parents. That's usually a good way to start this. I was 15 years old at the time, and my mom's catching me at the library checking out books on ultralights. Because I know flying is I live in southern Missouri. Flying is out of the question, but I can afford an ultralight, and you don't need a license for it. This will be great. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So she's seeing me check out these books, and she looks at me and goes, no, that's it. So I'm turning 16. That morning I went out and got my driver's license and did all that. That was fun. And they said, we've got a surprise for you. Okay, get in the car, we're going. And they took me right over. We got in the car and picked up a friend. I'm going, that's interesting. And he's got a camera. Okay, that's interesting. Something's going to happen. And then we drove to the northwest corner of the city, and they took me to the airport and put me on my very first flight lesson.
Wow.
And it was one of those discovery flights, like learn to fly, give this a shot. Now, don't go about it this way. I wish I had been mentally better prepared for it instead of just being thrown in a plane and going, you fly now, because that actually is a bad way to do this.
Oh, okay.
But I did it, and I utterly loved it. And a career option in Missouri at that point is like, you want to be a pilot? Yeah, you can do this. You can go to flight school, and you can become a pilot. That's not bad. So I did. I kept flying. Now, this is a grass field in Missouri, so you have to think about this in terms of a lot of the instructions are things like make sure and scare the Canadian geese off the runway before taking off. And
sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of this. Yeah, make sure to take the foam out of the front so the squirrels don't build nests in there. We don't get birds and this kind of thing in there.
De-ice the windshield.
Oh, man. Yeah. It was a little Cessna 150. 152. It was 1962 Cessna 152? 68 Cessna 152. Little tiny plane. Little tiny puddle jumper. High wings. Easy to fly. And yeah, I really got into it. Let's do it again.
So yeah, that was kind of what I was wondering originally. Like, what are you going for? Like, what are you looking for from flying? Because I wasn't sure if are you doing it for the thrill? Are you doing it for the career? Did you like in an airport? Did you pass by the Ambassadors Club and we're like, yeah, I want to be in there?
Let's see here. I bought a drone. I bought a drone because, I've got all this airplane background. Okay, so I bought a drone and I passed the written for that, written commercial. It's called the Part 107. Right. And it deals with a lot of the same stuff. And if you're actually interested in getting your private pilot, it's a great thing to do. Go buy a drone and go pass the written because it's not hard to do. The FAA instructions are all there. And it'll give you some basic map reading skills and weather stuff that you have to know later anyway.
So it's the same test basically for getting a drone license as it is to...
It's shorter. It's shorter, and it's only certain parts. I mean, you don't need to know about carburetor ice and runway markings because you're not going to end up using that on a drone.
Right.
But you will need to know how to read an aeronautical map, and that's important. And you will need to know some weather stuff. That's important. And yeah, you won't have to talk on the radio, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah. But, pay attention to that part because one day you might be flying.
That's awesome.
So I had passed that, and I'm just like, you know what? I could buy a plane. And what am I going to get out of it? Okay, well, what am I going to get out? What good is it? Because, the money to go get your license buys a lot of tickets. It really buys a lot of airplane tickets. And, even the guys I know who own planes still fly commercial because it's far cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if you're not carrying a bunch of people, then it's not worth not worth doing it yourself. Right. Okay.
Yeah, with the private, you can't fly commercial, so I can't fly for money.
Okay.
With the drone, I can because I found the 107, which is the commercial drone pilot. So I can do that for money. I can do that for payment, but private pilot, you can't do that. You can split costs, though.
Okay.
So if you wanted to say, if we're like, hey, I'm going to Santa Monica this weekend, you want to go, we can split the cost of airplane rental and fuel and fly down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So if you're taking the family and you want to load it full of, 4 people, I mean, that might be cheap, about the same price as buying, tickets.
So what's like if I was going to go buy myself like the Hyundai Elantra of planes, what would that be?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Like what's the
if you're looking at spending $30,000 on a plane, Oh, there's a lot, and it depends on what you want to do with it. That's the kind of thing. Okay, yeah, you could get yourself a Grumman AA1 trainer. It's not fast. It's a little two-seater, but if you're going to go put 1 million hours on it, it's made by Grumman from 1968, who made the lunar lander, and they also made the F-14 Tomcat. And in 60, if you get the 69, it would be the same year the moon landing was done, which is kind of cool. But cool. Yeah, it's a personal favorite because it has this. It's a low-wing plane with a canopy that's like a jet.
Oh.
And that was kind of what it was built to do, is kind of simulate this to get people more interested in flying so you can do this. And they say the performance on it's a lot of fun. It's you can do banks and turns and spins and stalls in it and all sorts of fun things.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, you can land at a lot of small airports out here. Like flying to Sedona is like 2.5 hours away. Van Nuys is like 2.5 hours. So Santa Monica is like 2. And Catalina, you could fly to Catalina, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, so
it's about half the driving time.
So it's basically, it's kind of like you did it once, you did it a couple times when you were younger. You were like, yeah, I've got the bug. And then you had to go do adult stuff. And then, now that you've done enough adult stuff, you're like, you know what? I'll fly a plane again.
Let's do it. Let's do this. Yeah. I mean, the idea of going out to Sedona or landing in a dry lake bed, because you can do this in the small planes. You can go out and go plane camping. So land at the lake bed, bring your tent, hang out overnight, sleep under the wings or something. Yeah, totally. Take off in the morning. Absolutely.
As far as lessons go, so the first time you took lessons was when you were what? You said 16?
Yeah, like 16. Yeah, 16, 17 in there. Very cool. I'd be 16 years old at that point. Yeah.
Okay, so you're 16-year-old Titans. You're getting into a plane. Was it easier or harder than you thought it was going to be? Ooh.
Oh boy, I'm going to say harder.
Really?
Back then, yeah. I felt like my instructor was like, you got this, no problem. I wasn't quite there yet.
I most certainly do not got this.
I most certainly don't have this. And the truth is, I did. I just didn't really understand that though. And you were talking about that fear of heights. Yeah, in a small plane, you're thrown around a lot. It's not like a large plane where everything's pretty. And if there's turbulence, it's like, oh, I guess that's turbulence. No, I mean you're feeling it. And I mean, to get your license, you've got to go do stalls. You fly up, and you fly up to the point where you can't. Yeah, and you drop. That's a stall. You got to be able to how to get out of that. You have to know that. Now, to get your commercial, you have to do spins. You go up, you get into a stall, and it's left? Upper aileron. You'll turn and spin on the way down, straight down, opposite rudder, level yourself out so you're going straight down, and you just pull out.
Wow.
Yeah, they say it's more intense than any roller coaster you'll ever ride. There's a lot of YouTube videos of it.
You're in free fall for several hundred feet. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll probably drop about 1,000 feet doing it. But you need to get out of it. You need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
It's like when you buy a car. When you're a kid, you buy a car or you're buying a car, and you go take it to the parking lot and do donuts.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a bad thing to do. Learn how to control a car. Learn how to work in the snow. Learn how to do donuts in the snow. That way, that one day when you're going around that curve and the rear end slides out from under you, you know how to turn into it. You'll automatically do it.
All right, so kids, clip out what he just said and just keep that on your phone for when you get pulled over.
Yeah, totally. Please. Yeah. Go do it somewhere safe. Be smart. Be smart about it. Don't go do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
No, that makes sense. Like if you don't know where the machine that you're, where the thing you're driving is going to fail, it's hard to know to keep it before that point. Note to self: remove getting my flying license off my bucket list, says Gorgies.
Oh no, it's so far so good. But even talking to other people, I'm like, hey, you know what? There were a few moments when I did feel like I had a little bit of heights, and even my doctor at that point said, no, that's completely normal and natural. But the thing about fear is that it'll keep you alive. Yes. And if you're afraid and you've got a healthy respect for it, because these rules are written in blood. Put the gear down before you land. About 100 accidents a year happen due to people distracted during landing, and you have to make sure of this. Runway incursions, lots of little things out there to remember. Density, altitude. There's lots of things that are dangerous, but you have to know. And it's worth it. That's part of the fun, you know.
Right.
Not everything in this world's safe and easy, but
that's a true statement. Oh, speaking of things that are not safe and easy, Crux says that's how we learned how to drive in the winter in Michigan. Here's a large iced over parking lot with nothing in it. Have fun.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yep. That's a great thing to do. Okay, now practice what your brakes go out, and you're going to practice pulling your what is that?
Emergency brake.
Your emergency brake. Yeah. Parking brake. Yeah, totally. Learn how to use it.
Yeah.
You know, learn how to shift your car in the 4-wheel drive if you have it, because there's some method to it. You should do it. You should practice it. You should. I mean, if you've got a Jeep, learn how to get it unstuck and unstuck. That's really important. And one day you may have to need this in a regular car.
I'm gonna give you all a little tip here. If you ever go to the Salt Flats, don't drive in it. And if you hear cracking, back up immediately. $600.
$600
to get it towed. A rental Jeep Wrangler.
Oh.
Maybe that's a story for the post game.
Okay, yeah, we got to hear this one.
That really sucked. Yeah, it really, really sucked. Oh God. All right, so that's the first time that you did it.
Yeah.
That was the second. So you did it when you were 16. You were like, oh my God, I don't got this, but then you kind of had this. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it in the post game, gorgeous. Yeah. All right, so you had your lesson there. Years go by. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do this. So how old were you when you came back and did this?
41.
Okay, so how did 41-year-old Titans take it?
Well, first off, I knew how to study. So the COVID rolled around and everyone was stuck inside. Yeah. And I sat right here and I said, let's pass the written.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do this, you know, there's some smart things to do before you start investing a ton of money in this. I'm going to go flying. Pass your written. Sit down and go over and study it, because it is a lot of studying. Yeah. Like to go over I went through the Glime course. It's about $100 online, it's a Glime, GLIEM.
Okay.
And they do have a set of studying and lessons. King Air does another one. I think the FAA has some publications as well. But I went over that, and just to get through the summary of all these things, it took me, I was going to say, about 4 hours of going through everything. Now, that's just to read the summary. It's a lot of studying.
All I can find is CMA exam prep.
They do that too.
Oh, okay. I was going to find it and throw it up in the chat for everybody, but
totally.
But I'm not going to be able to do that. So sorry. So you took
online,
the
so you can. Yeah, I took the Glime course. I knew how to study, so I can sit down and study now, and I'm not focused by college and starting a career and everything else that you end up with at a younger age. So yeah, I sat down, studied, and memorized it. It was good. And then I went over to take the test, and you sit in front of a computer and you go through it. I got a 92. I'm rather happy. You have to have a 70 to pass. But do you really want to pass? Do you really want to fly with a C-grade pilot?
No.
Don't do that.
I was just thinking, like on the door of the cockpit, you have those little letters like you see at restaurants. Yeah. Where it's got typically, hopefully, an A on it.
We've had this many days without a runway incursion. I mean,
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of it's common sense stuff. I mean, don't fly off the edge of the earth.
You're not supposed to tell them. Jesus. I've seen the documents, folks. They have an X-Plane training course, says Gorgie.
Simulators I've read are a great way to practice not actually flying.
So is that what X-Plane is? I don't know what
X-Plane's a simulator.
Okay.
But it's a good way to practice procedure. Calling things. There's really a lot of memorization of things that are on checklists. You have a climb checklist. You have a descent checklist. You have a takeoff checklist, a post-takeoff checklist, a landing checklist. You have to know this stuff. And to understand the procedure. You need a checklist for starting this show.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll own that. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's
no contest. I do. But I guess that does make sense though, because if you go through all the motions, okay, I have to switch this switch, I have to do this thing, blah blah blah. That is a good thing to rehearse for sure.
No, when you're actually flying, the number one rule is to fly the plane. And with a simulator, you have a screen right in front of you. Yeah. And that's not really how you fly. You're oftentimes looking out windows. You're lining up runways to wings and things. And that's hard to do with a screen just in front of you. Oh, now you tap around. No. It really needs to be there. Also, it doesn't quite feel the same when you don't have the same feedback.
Yeah.
I used to wear sandals flying in Missouri because when you're going up for a stall, the wind will start to coil around, and you can feel it in the rudder, or you can feel it in the tail.
Mm-hmm.
In your elevators, that's what I'm looking for. You can feel it in the elevators and tail, and it'll wiggle a little bit, so I could feel it in the pedals. So it would drive my instructor crazy. He's like, okay, go up for a stall. And I'd go up, and it's like, you're not stalling out. It's like, no, because I know I can feel it's going to stall. And he's like, look. We'd go up and drop. But yeah, just because I could feel it. And that's that tactile bit you kind of miss out on a real plane.
Oh, wow. Well, so if you're in a bigger plane, will you still feel that or no?
I'm guessing the large jets don't. There are a lot of fly-by-wire. It's just physically too large to actually move things.
Right.
But currently I'm flying a Piper Aero 4. It's a 4-seat plane. I think, do you have the photo of it?
There you go.
This is the plane I'm currently flying. This is a Piper... there it is. Yes, this is a Piper Aero 4.
Okay.
It is a 1980s plane. You can see it has a high wing, a high tail here in the back.
Okay.
It has retractable landing gear, and it has a propeller that you can adjust the pitch on. Now, this makes it a complex aircraft, and this is one of the different things that I've been put into with this. It is definitely a more challenging aircraft to fly. Nice. It's also 1 horsepower below the high performance rating of 200 horsepower that you at that point need a separate certification for.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it's quite a challenging plane. That's fine. It's a little closer to a commercial jet. It's a little closer to that how it runs. I mean, remembering to put your gear down. That's important. It's these little things. It's not terribly difficult, but the pitch adjustment on the propeller, it'll actually change your manifold pressure.
Yeah. And
that's something you have to watch on this plane.
Huh.
And it's important, but now I know how to do it. And it's still a lot of just one more step in there to do.
Oh, you know what? Actually, so before we go, I did want to leave people with something to take home with this. So let's say that I did want to learn how to fly.
Okay.
What would I do? Like, how do you said get the test first? We posted the link earlier for the glide place. Okay, so then what does one do after that?
You go take the test at a little testing center.
Yep.
You can look that up, a PSI testing center. Then after that, go get your medical. And then after that, go find an instructor and do the fun part where you actually get to fly and put to use.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
Or, honestly, there are some 2-week intensive courses you can go through.
Yeah.
As well, that'll do everything all at once, which is not bad in all honesty, because to pass the written, it helps to have some physical, I've been on a runway that looks like that. That's how I know what that sign is.
Yeah. I
know what a stop sign is, not just reading about a stop sign and going, okay, that's what I'll do if I see one, but they go, I've seen that, and I know we always stop at them. It works both ways. So it does help to get that. So flight school isn't necessarily a bad thing to do.
Well, there you go.
Honestly, or finding an instructor that'll work with you.
Well, thank you so much, Titans. I really super appreciate you coming on and joining us for a Friday show. And looking forward to having you back on Monday. You're going to join us for this Monday, right?
I'll be there.
Awesome. So that's going to be this coming Monday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. I swear, I almost said specific. I almost said specific time. I don't know why. But at any rate, yeah, so join us right here at, of course, twitch.tv/Synshop or on youtube.com/Synshop. And, and also check out synshop.org for more information on the shop, or you can go to synshop.org/Discord to join our Discord and become a part of the conversation. Speaking of conversation, yes, go ahead. Last word.
I was going to say there is a flight section of our Discord that it gets it doesn't have a lot of business, but it gets a few posts here and there. Right. But I'd love to talk about it if you want to talk further. But thank you. Honestly, Phong, this has been a lot of fun. This has been a good interview. I'm glad it went so well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming out and joining us, and thanks to all of you guys out there for watching us. Thanks to Crux for hanging out with us while we unfortunately and unceremoniously had to kick him. Because for whatever reason, the stream won't work now with 3 people. I do not understand why that's the case. Anyway, but yeah, so thank you, everybody. Have yourself a great night. Come see us on Monday and also next Friday. I am, of course, the Mighty Pong.
I'm Tidens.
And that is Crux in the chat down there. And we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a good night.